Chicago, what's happening at Hollis Hall right now is anything but normal. Our rookie receiver just dropped a message that shows the new culture setting the future for this franchise. But that's not all. There are wild rumors flying around about a trade that could land us an East Coast elite defensive lineman who just might finally fix our biggest weakness. And hold on, because there's a cheap running back option on the table that could blow up this offense right now. Miss this, and you'll miss the single most crucial moment of our season. Stick around until the end. The Bears rookie receiver just dropped a bold statement about Ben Johnson and the culture he's building in Chicago, and let me tell you, THIS is exactly what we've been needing to hear. Because when Rome Odunze comes out and goes public about the intensity and demand level Johnson is bringing to this organization, that tells me we've finally got a leader who does not settle for mediocrity. Let me set the scene for you. After years of watching this franchise stumble with coaches who just didn't get what it means to be a Bear, with half-hearted decisions and a loser mentality, we finally have someone setting real standards. Odunze, our first-year receiver with 5 touchdowns in 4 games, is all in on that vision. On the October 1st edition of The Rich Eisen Show, Rome held nothing back when asked about Johnson's impact. And listen close, because this is GOLD for getting where this franchise is headed. It's been great, Odunze started. I think Coach Ben's been super intense with the offense and the team overall. Just trying to get us where we need to be and being strict on that stuff. Did you catch that? Intense, strict, that's what we needed to hear in Chicago. So answer me this: when's the last time we had a head coach who demanded perfection from every player? Every coach, the whole organization. I think you have to go all the way back to the Lovie Smith era to get that kind of mindset. But here's what really gets me hyped. Odunze spilled a secret Johnson used to coach receivers. The wide receiver position is kind of his baby too, Rome explained. He coached it in the past, so he's really on us about all the details of the offense from our point of view. And we appreciate that. This is Navy and Orange, baby. We've got a head coach who doesn't just understand offense, this dude has DEEP, specific knowledge of the receiver spot. Do you know how huge that is for the development of Williams, Odunze, and our whole receiver room? And Rome didn't stop there. He kept breaking down the culture Johnson's bringing. I think that kind of culture and mentality has really pushed us to keep developing and getting better. He's done a great job, but the hardest hitting comment came at the end, when Odunze made it absolutely clear how high Johnson's standards are. He holds everyone to that standard. O-line, Caleb Williams, running backs, receivers, coaches, everyone under the organization. He wants perfection. Perfection. Let me tell you, that's what this city deserves. After watching Trubisky flop, after firing Nagy, after years of being just okay, we finally got a leader who's only settling for excellence. And look at Odunze's numbers under Johnson. In just 4 games, Rome has 20 catches for 296 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns in 4 games for a rookie. Do you realize how historic that is for this franchise? But what's even more impressive isn't just the numbers, it's how Odunze has become Caleb Williams' top target. That means Johnson's not just developing his quarterback. He's creating chemistry and trust between his key players. And let me ask you, do you think that's a coincidence? Or is it a direct result of having a coach on every detail like Rome said? I think the answer's clear. While the Packers are just trying to keep their offense upright without Aaron Rodgers, the Vikings keep leaning way too hard on their running back. And the Lions are dancing for their 5 minutes of fame. Here in Chicago, we're building something real. We're building a culture of excellence that started with Johnson's mindset. This team is 2-2 after starting 0-2, and that's nitrogen monoxide accident. It's because we have a leader who holds everyone accountable, demands perfection, and doesn't do excuses. Rome Odunze isn't just having a monster rookie year, he's buying in completely to Ben Johnson's vision. And when your top first-year receiver is out here publicly praising your coach's intensity and standards, that tells me this culture is spreading throughout the building. Because at the end of the day, it isn't just about winning games. It's about how you win them. It's about building a winning mindset that lasts 4 years, not just a season. And with Johnson demanding perfection from everyone from linemen to coaches, we're finally headed in the right direction. If that surprises you, just wait. What's next could be the boldest move Ryan Poles has made since coming to Chicago. And I'm telling you, if Poles really pulls off this deal, we're talking about solving our biggest defensive problem in one swoop. Let me lay it out. The Bears are giving up 106.4 rushing yards per game. That's literally the worst in the whole NFL. and these aren't garbage time numbers. Teams are physically dominating us week after week. Andrew Billings is back in the lineup, and we still can't stop the run. Do you realize how worrying that is? It's one thing to slip when you're missing pieces, but when your vet gets back and teams are still racking up 106-4 in a half a week, you got a systemic problem. But here's where it gets interesting. According to SI Bears, there's a buzz about a trade with DJ Moore headed to the New York Jets in exchange for Quinnen Williams, a three-time Pro Bowler at defensive tackle. I can't believe we're even talking about this. But let me tell you why this makes all the sense for both teams. First, look at our receiver situation. Rome Odunze has already become our WR1, getting more targets than Moore. Then you've got Olamide Zacchaeus, who, shockingly, also has more targets than DJ. And don't forget Luther Burden III, our rookie who flashed elite talent in Week 3 against Dallas, in the exact same role as Moore. And here's another thing: when Colston Loveland gets healthy, Williams will have yet another top target. So ask yourself, do we really need DJ Moore with all that depth and young talent? Because here's the real talk nobody wants to admit: Moore is 28, in year 3 of a 4-year, $110 million deal, and he isn't our number one option anymore. Meanwhile, we're bleeding rushing yards every dang Sunday. Now let's talk about Quinnen Williams. The dude is exactly the interior beast this defense needs. With an 87 point to PFF grade, he's the 4th best defensive tackle in the whole league. But the stat that really made me sit up: he's rocking a 92.3 grade against the run. Hear that? 92.3 against the run when we're giving up 106-4 in a half a game. That's Navy and orange, baby. And Williams' numbers this year are insane. 13 pressures to force fumbles, 15 run stops. Every stat is top 7 at his position. This guy doesn't just stop the run, he gets after the quarterback from the inside. Let me ask you, when was the last time we had a defensive tackle who could dominate versus the run? And in the pass rush, I'd say you have to go all the way back to prime Akeem Hicks. And here's the kicker: the ages and contracts are dang near identical. Moore is 28. Williams is 27. Moore is in year 3 of 4. Williams too. Salary cap-wise, this is almost perfect. Let me get into the impact Williams would have on our whole defensive line. You get a dominant interior presence, and your edge guys Demarcus Walker and Montez Sweat are suddenly chasing Pro Bowl careers, with Williams gobbling up double teams in the middle. Now, about the Jets, they've got the worst run offense in the AFC East, and their passing game is a complete disaster outside of Garrett Wilson. You know who their quarterback is: Justin Fields. And you know who Fields had his best season with: DJ Moore in 20-20-3. Moore and Fields broke out together in 20-20-3. DJ went for 1,306-4 yards and 8 touchdowns. Fields had his best year as a pro. The chemistry is there, the history is there. While the Packers are struggling with an old defensive line, the Vikings need miracle plays just to stay in it. And the Lions' defense is just middle of the road even with their hype. We'd be adding an elite interior defensive tackle who fixes our single biggest problem. And here's one more thing: when I look at how real contenders are built in this league, they all start with stuffing the run. San Francisco dominated with their D-line for years. The Rams won a Super Bowl with Aaron Donald blowing up the interior. And with Chicago's defensive tradition, we need a dude like that in the trenches. Does it mean Poles will actually pull the trigger? I don't know. But what I do know is if we want to really compete in this division, if we want our defense back to being feared, we need to make bold moves. Because bottom line, this isn't a desperation deal. It's a strategic play that solves problems for both teams. The Jets get a proven playmaker for their QB with built-in chemistry. And we land the defensive monster this franchise has been searching for years. Now here's where things get even wilder. Because while everyone's talking about big trades and bold moves, there's actually a cheap but effective fix to our running back problem staring US in the face right now. Let me ask you, this: why burn massive resources when you could get proven production for next to nothing? Let me be clear, our running back situation is unacceptable. D'Andre Swift and rookie Kyle Monange have done absolutely nothing on the ground. And Roshan Johnson hasn't even touched the ball this season. 0 carries in 4 games. And the most frustrating part, our O-line is holding its own on run blocks. Johnson's got these guys opening holes, but our running backs aren't making anything out of it. Swift's longest run this whole year? 20 yards. 20 yards in 4 games. That's just SAD. But there's an option nitrogen monoxide one is talking about who could be exactly what we need. Raheem Mostert. From the Las Vegas Raiders. Now I know what you're thinking. Mostert's 33. He's had injuries, and he's technically a backup. But here's why this move makes total sense for Chicago right now. First off, let's talk about week 4 against the Raiders. Mostert ripped off for carries for 62 yards against OUR defense. 3 of those were over 10 yards, including a monster 37-yard run in the fourth quarter. You hear that? 37 yards. That's 17 yards more than Swift's best all season. And Mostert did it against our own defense, which, let's be real, is supposed to be pretty good up front. But here's what really has me considering this: the 37-yard run by Mostert set up a crucial score for the Raiders. That's the kind of explosive play our offense is dying for. Ben Johnson's system is all about play action. We need a back who can break off legit runs so that fakes actually pull defenders up and open up the whole playbook. And Mostert, even at 33, still has that explosive speed. A little history: just 2 years ago, Mostert led the entire NFL with 18 rushing touchdowns and went over 1,000 yards with Miami back in 2019. He was key in getting the Niners to the Super Bowl. 772 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he never even started. He's been over 5.6 yards a carry with the right system. You see the pattern. When Mostert's been healthy and in the right setup, he's been one of the league's most productive backs. Let's talk scheme, because this is where it gets interesting. Mostert's best years were with Mike McDaniel in Miami and Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. What do those systems have in common? Stud lines that crush it, blocking for zone runs, maximizing speed and vision. And what's Ben Johnson got? Exactly that. Our line's doing work. Johnson's calling stretch zone runs. But our backs just don't have the perfect blend of speed and power Mostert brings. Swift is fast but doesn't have the extra gear. Mo Nange's got power but isn't an open field threat. As for Roschon Johnson, well, apparently Johnson doesn't trust him because he hasn't gotten a single carry. Mostert brings that balance. He's got the speed to get into space and power to break through arm tackles. Most importantly, he's proven that he'll thrive behind a blocking O-line. Now let's talk price. This is what makes it a no-brainer. Because of his age, injury history, and backup role behind rookie Ashton Jeanty, polls could probably pull this off for a 6th or 7th rounder in the 2026 draft. You'd be out of your mind not to take that. A 6th or 7th for a potential starter for the rest of the year is low risk with massive upside. Here's the beauty: it's a short-term play. Doesn't lock you down moving forward. If Mostert pans out, awesome, he helps us win now. If he doesn't or gets hurt, you lost a late pick and still have the draft or free agency to find a long-term answer next year. Compare that to other options. Alvin Kamara would be awesome, but he'd cost way more. Braylon Allen just tore up his knee. Devon Achane from Miami, minimum mid-round pick with his youth and upside. While the Packers are riding or dying with Aaron Jones, the Vikings have their backfield straight. And Detroit's got a legit running back committee. We're out here just looking for basic production. And here's one more thing: the Raiders are 0-4 and clearly in full rebuild mode. Ashton Jeanty, their first-round rookie, just went for 138 yards Sunday, and with Zamir White in the mix, Mostert is 100% expendable. The window's wide open. Poles has his bye week to work the phones. Vegas will be open for offers. And we need a running back who can actually take advantage of the O-line blocks we're getting. Is Mostert the perfect answer? Probably not. But is he a low risk, HIGH upside play who could help us win right now and keep the future options open? Absolutely. Bottom line, this team is 2-2, riding momentum after the straight wins. We've got Washington up next after the bye. Now's the time to make a move, not wait until it's too late. If Poles can land Mostert for next to nothing and the veteran gives us 60 or 70 yards a game with a splash play or two, that could be the difference between making the playoffs or sitting at home. AGAIN. So let me hit you with these direct questions, because I need to know where the Bears family stands on these 3 massive stories. First question: after hearing Rome Odunze talk about Ben Johnson's intensity and standards, do you think we finally have the winning culture Chicago deserves? Or do you still need to see more before fully buying in? Second question: if Ryan Poles called you right now asking whether to swap DJ Moore for Quinnen Williams, would you be on board with that deal? Or do you think we'd be giving up on a proven vet too soon? Third question: is it worth flipping a 6th or 7th rounder for Raheem Mostert as a short-term fix at running back, or should we still chase a younger, more long-term option even if it costs more? Here's where I stand, and listen close. These 3 stories aren't a coincidence. They're proof this organization is finally thinking smart, thinking strategic, and acting with urgency. We've got a rookie receiver going all in on our coach's vision. We've got a shot at a trade that solves our biggest defensive hole. And we've got an affordable option to fix our weakest offensive link right now. But I need you, Bears family, to get involved. Because this community is more than just some YouTube channel. It's a family that lives and breathes navy and orange. We are the voice for fans who've lived through years of mediocrity and who deserve to see this team fight at the highest level. So here's my call to action for you. If you believe Roma Duns is our future WR1 and his mindset is exactly what Chicago needs, smash that like button right now. If you're in on Poles being aggressive and making the Quinn and Williams trade to finally fix our run defense, drop me a comment that says do it, Poles. And if you're all about landing Mostert for a late pick as a low-risk move we gotta make during this bye week, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update as these moves unfold. Because I'll guarantee you the next 2 weeks will be explosive. The trade deadline's coming. Our bye week is the perfect time for Poles to make moves. And you do not want to miss what's next. The Bears family is growing every day because you all get it here. We don't just drop news. We break IT down with the passion and knowledge this franchise deserves. We are the voice of Chicago in the world of the Bears. So if you're still not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join this community that's more than a channel, it's a family. Because at the end of the day, we Bears fans know this team, this city, this organization deserves greatness. And with Ben Johnson setting the culture, Poles going bold, and players like O'Dunn's all in, we're closer than we've been in years. Bear down, Chicago. This is our season. This is our moment. And together we're bringing the Bears back to the top of the NFL. Don't miss the next video. We'll be here every day bringing you the latest news, serious deep dives, and the kind of passion only this community can deliver. See you in the next video, Bears family.